starting coming at you with another game of Diablo 2 Resurrected. Look, I'm a warlock. I'm not going to quit saying it. It's true, and it's going to continue being true. I'm a warlock now. This is now a warlock household. We used to be necromancers and sorceresses and paladins. You know, every now and then a bad summon druid, but it's all warlock all the time here now, baby. Alright, so... I feel like... So this one is gonna, like, lower the enemy damage, so this is just what we're doing now, right? This is gonna be our hex. And of course we've got all of our other abilities, but we're just gonna go right out the gate after buying a lot of potions. Just so many potions. Oh ho ho! Who's this? Just a little joke to people who know. Hey, Froggy. No hardcore. Oh no, not yet. I wanted to like get a feel for how the character worked and learn it and stuff before I started on hardcore. Hardcore in Diablo 2 is even if you know like a whole lot of things about the game, you know, you still gotta be prepared in a specific way. And having never played the character before, oh no hardcore. Oh, right. So YouTube's weird. Now I understand. Yeah, if you saw the title, you would have been like, hey, didn't that happen like a year ago? But yeah, so I accidentally hit start streaming on my broadcast software before I got like it queued up on YouTube, and apparently it defaulted to an incredibly old stream rather than the one that I was building in my screen. And you know, unsettling to realize that I can accidentally just like one button push turn on, you know, the video. So definitely gonna have to change those settings. Certainly a thing I should have realized before. Not good. Not good discipline at all. Yeah, I looked over in the window and I was like, the journey home. Look, I'm like, hey, I made that video. And then I'm like, wait, why is that on my screen, you know? Plus, I was doing my vocal warm-ups. You know, you wouldn't want people to come upon you while you're doing your vocal warm-ups. The arsonist has oddly shaped feet. You know, that kind of thing. Fireball! I feel like we need to turn the sound down even further. It's at what, like 6? No. Alright, because it's just these guys too much. Yeah. It's like you could put sound effects on 1 and music on 100, and this is how loud the music is. They're like, no, we want you to hear the smashing. Which, look, it's nice sound design, but the more creatures on a screen, the more you hear the sound, right? This has always been my position in life. Especially in like an action game. You know, like, you're going to be doing basically the same thing. Like, so much. Yeah, it just like, it does not want me to hear this music at all. 100 to 1, and the sound effects are louder. Make it make sense, Blizzard. Is my sound out? No, no, it's fine. Well, I'll just have to talk more to fill the space, I guess. Or run into that and die, whichever comes first. Fireball. Alright, I guess we could look at this poleaxe. I mean, it's not going to be better than what he has, though, right? Alright, so we're 1 strength point away from getting to wear our new shield, which is going to get us pretty close to max block, although we will have lost a few levels of dex matching, because you need, like, some dexterity for any level you are for block. There's a whole equation. Very boring stuff. Rare ring, yes please. Do I have an Identa scroll? Yes. Terrible. It might be better than one of mine. We'll check whenever we get to a little stop point, but not a good ring. It used to be one of my favorite things to save all the barbarians, and then, like, I would play a paladin with, like, the crappy little prayer healing aura, because there's very few ways to heal in this game, right? And then I would just try to keep all the barbarians alive, and, you know, we would go through together, being heroes for just one day. A little bit of a teleport, Nova to create distance. Man, I love this character. It feels very modern, right? Which, you know, makes sense because it's new. But, you know, the toolkit, it almost feels like it's too good, right? Like, what does a Diablo player do to deserve to have all of these things at their disposal? Most classes got to make do with, like, one thing that's this cool. My man's got it all. In this place, we've already gone through last night, but it's good experience, right? And frankly, we desperately need a level or 3 before we continue on with Act 5. Because the Ancients, you cannot cheese the Ancients, right? You have to fight the Ancients legitimately. And you cannot leave. And I'm not worried about it. I mean, we'll make it work. I beat the Ancients a few hundred times in my life. Not going to be that big of a deal. Lots of the times I was helping other people and they just stood there, so it was even harder than normal. It's just Duriel that I can't beat. No, I can. I just, like, look, the game is bad. I just love it. Populate the belt with potions for space. But actually, honestly, so much that used to be really regrettable about the game is all gone now. And now it's like, if you like what's underneath, and I do, like, it's just so nice. I think I actually didn't pick that up last night, which is pretty funny, but, you know, we're gonna... Alright, so is he 26? Yes, yes. So we got this off of Diablo, and the Sidgon's shield, which we have to get to level 75. It's real good, of course, because it's got a massive block chance of 69. This one here, you know, at 52 is fine, but not, you know, the difference there, quite intense. And we're going to give him this armor, which is going to make him very hardy. You know, it's not so great. Open wounds is fine, and it's got big defense on it, which matters for a merc. Honestly, we'll just throw that gemmed mail in there, because I might start another character one day. No, we'll get rid of it eventually. Ooh, magic find on a ring? Not much, but... you know, somewhat better than that ring just because the life leech is never going to matter. We could lose the other ring. We're in between breakpoints. But we're going to wear that in a couple of levels, which is another reason why we want to level. Because Diablo dropped an item that we couldn't use yet. What a jerk. What kind of metal band is your metal band, Kiara? Do you have like 15 words to describe it, or is it more, you know, not teasing you specifically? You know how metal is. You know the descriptions of the genre can be longer than a song. And we're just gonna keep on rolling in because, like I said, we need the XP. Just the rectifier bites the dust. It's unlikely that any of those items will be better than what we had, but theoretically possible. Oh yeah, we'll go down here. Abaddon. Now, these are places you never need to go, but, you know, we're going places we don't need to go. That's what this run is all about. Oh, you don't have one. You want to have a proggy thrash fan, though? Nice, nice. That would be awesome. Those are very good, like, prefixes and suffixes for a metal band. Oh, no. Oh, boy. So these guys are called Hellords, and they are the scariest boys in the game. However, if we can run away. Let me get out. Alright, yeah. Whoa, boy. We were not prepared. So those are, and that was like a pack. They have Frenzy, which as they attack, they attack better. So a pack like they had, you know, like a, you know, magic enchantment upon them. The thing is when you're playing on controller, it's very hard to check what the stats of a pack are, because it's sort of like what is going on. But playing on a controller is so much better. It's funny how there's like small things about the inputs that make huge differences. Because playing on a controller is better in almost every situation for the actual gameplay. But for stuff like that, if you need to find out what's going on, and especially playing hardcore, like information, there are certain pack suffixes that you'll get killed. Like, you'll just die, and you would never run into them on purpose. But if you don't check, then you won't know. But the game is just not built as well on the keyboard and mouse. Ooh, you know, this is not a good charm, but we might roll with it anyway. It takes up so much space. It takes up so much space. I have principles. This is another reason why I'm bad at the game. You know, I'm like, do I die too much? No, I'm alright. It doesn't matter. Oh, we put all the money in there, but we have to get Fuzzle. Been doing Screamer for like 6 months. Yep, you know, they can be pretty tough on the body, the metal vocals. And the font changes, which is really annoying. You know, like, it's funny how, like, all the little things, because my preferences rather rapidly change. I think we're going to skip Frigid Highlands and go to Plateau, actually, just because Highlands isn't that good of experience. And this way we'll pretend that we didn't go to Abaddon and get absolutely wrecked and have to run away in shame. Because that didn't even happen. Look at us. We're already past there. Look, I don't know what that Moonlord pack was, but we were going to have to resurrect Fuzzle like 4 more times, probably. Let's just carry on. Well, and if you do them wrong, perhaps even if you do them right. I mean, you hear people in actual metal bands, that, perform for years and years and years still getting screwed up. Or, having to change their styles because they can't, keep up. You know, time comes for us all. But you're quite correct that the more careful you are, the better results you'll have by far. Alright, let's try the Pit of Acheron. After all, Abaddon went so well. Says all people have been brutal vocals 5 Yep. You can't ever discount the effects of random chance, other personal decision making, genetics. Like there's plenty of people who can play video games all day long and never have problems with their hands. And there's me. No, the doctor didn't say it was because I played video games too much. He didn't blame anything for it. He said, your wrists are kind of small. What are you going to do? He didn't say it that way. That would have been funny. I don't have like a Sopranos doctor, I do see them on television. Oh, you asked the other day about TV shows that I liked. I read it, and then I don't remember what I was doing. I was playing a game, right? And I got distracted either by what I was talking about or, something else, and I never answered it. I don't watch a lot of TV. Lately, I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine and having a lot of fun with that. I think it's pretty funny. I like Andy Samberg, huge Lonely Island fan. I love musical comedy and stuff, so, and of course, they are a very influential figure in that overall scape. And then The Sopranos, and I'm rewatching. I've watched it like a bunch. And then I like these British shows, like there's one called QI, which is just like a trivia show with comedians. It's pretty cool, except when like the premise is they ask them a question, and if they get like one of the typical wrong answers, there's like a buzzer that sounds, and I hate the sound of it, like a good amount, but this show's really fun and I like it. So like I have to put up with that, which stinks, but what are you gonna do? It's the whole premise that they hit them with the klaxon. But and then other British stuff. They have this deeply strange TV show called 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, which is like a fusion of a panel show and a game show. And because there's a real show called 8 out of 10 Cats, and it's a comedy show. And then there's one called Countdown, and it's like a serious game show where they do like anagrams and number puzzles. And then 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown is, the comedy version of that. And I really like that show. It's deeply strange. Not at all for everybody. But I like little stuff. So like, they give them a jumble of like 9 letters, and you got to make the longest, word you can out of it. Like, I love stuff like that. That's my jam. And then it's also, like they're telling jokes and things like that. But it's South Park. I love South Park. It's not for everybody, and honestly, I feel like a lot of people that like it for terrible reasons. But I've watched it since it started, and I am a fan. I mean, I don't like everything they've ever done. Far from it. But that's one of my big shows for sure. Like, I've seen every South Park, but it's like some, that not if you do something for a super long time, not all of it is gonna like be smart. Not all of it's gonna age well at all, and that's just the way the world is. But I still think they're very funny, and even when they're absolute idiots, I've usually you can tell that they're at least going for something, which that's what art is being willing to do things that are weird or unpredictable or upsetting in order to see if you can get somewhere with it. Only, like, the more popular you are, the more mad people get at you when you mess up when you're trying that out. The weirdo doing performance art on the street corner isn't getting the same scrutiny that, like a pop star would if they started saying the same stuff in the same place. Which is kind of unfair, you it's like the world tries to make people more responsible by virtue of being more known, but like, why should a person have to change who they are because other people start paying attention to them, especially if they're just doing their thing, not like running a business or a country or a little war band that marauds from star to star, like trying to figure out if there's good enough resources in that little sector of the galaxy before moving on. Like, there's a lot of things where it wouldn't be appropriate to look at the world that way. But, for a lot of the time, why does it matter? But it is always funny to see, because it's been on since I was young, and that it's maintained like cultural importance for all that time, and has, I think, continued to deliver very interesting like social, political, and artistic commentary throughout the years. Even if I don't think every episode is uproariously funny, I still think almost all of them are pretty good, and some of them are absolute perfection. For example, one of my favorite episodes and one of the most legendary in the whole show's run, with apologies to Jesse Jackson, came to mind, which I watched last night. The Reverend Jesse Jackson recently just shuffled off this mortal coil and is no longer with us. Jesse Jackson, a very complicated guy, but I always wonder what he felt about that episode. I bet he hated it. I don't know if he's on the record. But a great example, that episode, of how, you can take upsetting and offensive and inappropriate things and tackle them through a lens which genuinely and like with not a cruel heart approaches these issues, because there's totally a way to do an episode with that plot and be awful, but they found a way to make it really human. And then like the B plot with Stan trying to make Tolkien think like, oh, it's not a big deal, like all of that, and then him understanding it too, which mirrors so well like what happens in the real world when there's big things that happen, and then like these family conversations are happening, and then kids are taking sides. I mean, because the boys are in fourth grade, fifth grade, yeah, but and they're still like talking about the same things that their parents are talking about, right? But they don't have the same elegance or lack of it in Randy's case, to do it. But anyway, just a wonderful episode. Yeah, no, that's South Park's my jam. I don't know if it's like my favorite TV show ever. That would be Star Trek Deep Space Nine. But I'm like, no, why don't I just say what it is? I know what it is. Star Trek Deep Space Nine is my favorite thing. Ooh, yeah. Star Trek Iron Stay, my jam. Now, this other one was like, some life. Okay. But this one is 20 life and 20 cold resist. It's not good, but it's slightly better than this. Is it though? Oh man. Alright. Is it though? So it's 13 life and 20 cold resist. So the replenished life is irrelevant. The mana oh yeah, cold resist is fine. That's fine. Yeah. Sorry, sometimes it's not clear what item's better if they're bad. Oh no, Yeti! Champion Snowdrifter. We're just gonna melt him though. Oh yeah. The thing about Act 5 is not a ton of fire resistant stuff unless you go down into those portals. Which we didn't have to do, and we did. But we got Moonlords here. They are scary, but... You know, it's just about... Did I like the new season? I really did. You know... There's a lot of different, like, angles to approach liking South Park, you know, like character studies, you know, stories about the boys and, like, the way they make their way through the world, and then, like, the way that they can, like, dovetail that in. I wasn't upset for them to tackle politics the whole time. I feel like, you know, from their point of view, they probably felt like it was called for. Not like they've made a career out of giving the people what they want, but, you know, when it's clear that your fan base wants to see you talk about some current events, you can't avoid it. Not forever. You know, I mean, they even ended Integrity Farms. This whole world is getting to me. Did you ever watch the South Park anniversary concert? It's so good. Oh my god, it's so good. If you haven't, you really must. I think you'll really like it. I mean, if you're a fan of the show, I'm sure you would. But oh man, it's great. Cause they got like everybody there, man. They got, I mean. Les Claypool comes, you know, he's playing basically the whole show. They got the guys from Ween. They got these backup singers that are doing great. Rush shows up. It's so good. I am telling ya. Ooh, 3-socket edge bow. Totally worth holding on to. Well, later. Enjoy history. Stygian harlot. What a name for a species, you know. They really upset the guy that was in charge of the bestiary, huh? It's like, what are they called? You sure? He's like, nope, write it down. I'm in charge here. Like, where are my hotkeys? And these rejuves are going safely into the chest forever. Where all the other ones go to live. And we'll be at another level before we know it. You know, they just give them away in this act. Still wearing our +1 strength gloves? No, we finally upgraded them. That's sad. Well, we still have our ethereal +1 strength gloves. They're the mascot for the character. They're what it's all about. We're going to wear them forever. Hop on our passives before we go. The old miasma. I was thinking this morning as I was, you know, eating my breakfast, making my coffee, that I really am excited about the Warlock. I mean, I know I have been the whole time, because with this move where we get to throw it, we have my dream, which is a ranged character that cares about their weapon, where it can be any weapon, right? Because when you play, Amazon, there's just a few kinds of ranged weapons, so there's only a few kinds of weapon in the game that are even interesting to you, and maybe there's a rune word that would seem super cool, but it doesn't have arrows. But this, gets around all that. And the rest of the toolkit, a level 1 Fire Nova is absolutely crazy for you to just single dip. It's what, two points to get access to? It's 1 point. You don't have to go anywhere for it. That's so good. I gotta get in before they hit this class with the nerfs. That's what I gotta do. No, we need to go to the frozen river, but isn't there? I'm just gonna check. I'm not gonna try to remember. No, there's not one in the frozen river. Well, what we're gonna do is drop one there, try to get the waypoint, and then go do the frozen river on the way back. Evil Urn spawns a unique thing, of course. Oh, they're fire enchanted. I'm like, how are they still alive? Well, a cruel question, because they aren't actually. Alright, so we still very much need to find this waypoint. We don't have to, but it would be nice as an intermediary. I don't really perceive using this character to help anybody, and that's really the only reason why you would truly need a waypoint in the middle of an act like this, where you don't have to go back, but, it's still nice to have. I certainly can't, have a character for an extended period of time and just not have all the waypoints that I need. Ooh, time to go back to town. Whoops. Well, now we'll have to run back to the frozen river the long way. That's okay. So now we go to 75 strength, which is just so much strength, but it's okay. 4 seconds guard. Which gives us plus skills and, of course, has 69 chance to block. Very nice indeed. And we'll just take these dex points and try to move up. Yeah, only at 64 because, of course, it's a relative thing there. But that's why we took those dex points all along. We figured we would eventually get a good shield. And, of course, we did. You know, probably, you know, Spirit isn't too far away. And we could make one now, but we're not going to. Because I don't have the stuff for it. And this is a self-found character. You know, at least so far. But anyway, maxed on cold resist, actually at 95. Well, we don't need that at all, do we? No, we drank the thawing potion? No. No, I just think we have... From where? Oh, the shrine. From the shrine. Alright, so we are at level 28 and we need... Yeah, we gotta save all these skill points. But that shield right there, that is the most recognizable shield to me. That is the shield. So, like, if you can get to 75 strength at level 6, then you can use this and you get plus to all skills, which is just so good in the early game, and indeed forever. But usually you can't equip it quite that early. But plenty of characters don't even want that much strength at all, and, you know, they have to sort of languish. But yeah, because our build would be just so much stronger, you know, if we were more focused. Because if we had every point into this firewall thing, we'd be doing, I don't know, 3 times as much damage. That doesn't matter. That's not what it's about. This game is about bravery. It's about courage. It's about drinking stamina potions and running through caves. It's about a lot of things. Down the barb, and now it's time for frozen rivers so we can help old Anya out. One of my favorite characters is the Blizzard Sorceress, which has just a terrible time here, but, you know, basically what you do with Blizzard Sorc is you have like 1 level in your fire skill or something, right? And then... Or maybe you have it off of a weapon. Like a leaf swap is a thing that I like to do. And then, you know, you can just switch over, like, static field somebody that's cold immune down, depending on it. Because static field does, like, 25% of their HP. And that's how you kill Duriel, right? Rotwalkers can charge. They're actually really dangerous. Not, like, Omega dangerous, but really dangerous. 5 is an act full of pretty scary dudes. But, you know, you just got to respect them. And, importantly, by Act 5, you absolutely have to have some run walk. Because I'm, I think, at 45 run walk now. And it is the reason why I was able to, like, you know, get away from Diablo trying to breathe fire on me and stuff. Man, this build is so good. No. Oh, I've been leaving these things on the ground and the daggers have warlock abilities on them. Now you're joking. It's alright. It's alright. Well, now we know. Alright, so 2 sources of abilities off of Grays for rune word potential. So very cool ceiling there. Because, like, could you spirit in one? I bet you could get some really nice early game warlock stuff if you were taking a view towards maxing it out. Man, what a great skill. And you might be like, why is this different than Firewall? Initial damage, baby. That's why it's different. Also, it's much more controllable. And I have a Goatman. Huh, oopsie daisy. They always think they're so clever. They're like, ooh, I'm gonna rise from the grave. That'll show them. Get out of here. Seen that before. We're playing Diablo. You think you're the only dude who's died before? More of these. These urns are actually really nice because, you know, if nothing else, you know, you get more more potions, but, you know, they're definitely a good way to gear up, you know, and they're optional too, so you can clear out stuff before you run into them. But of course, you know, me being me, I'm just like, and then I'll leave the stuff on the ground again, because, I mean, who cares? But these abominables are not too much of a worry. They hit pretty hard, but that's the thing. If you have like fast hit recovery at all, which you need some. It's not absolutely mandatory at the beginning of the game, and it's hard to get at the beginning of the game. And honestly, you have such low HP totals at the beginning of the game that you may not even notice it if you got, you know, a couple of frames knocked off. But when you get just a little bit of tankiness, because the late game, you know, they swarm you with more enemies, they're faster, they've got more gap closing abilities, more mobility, more flying sort of stuff going on. You know, you don't see dangerous flyers in Act 1. You know, you get those crummy little birds. I don't even think they go over blocking areas, if there are any, you know, that kind of thing. But where is she? Where is she? No, I'm not in any kind of hurry. Ideally, we will get to level 30 before hitting the Ancients. But, you know, they can barely get through a goat man, right? Okay, I think we'll be just sticking with this stealth for a little while till we get something better. And by that point, we'll be able to get a much nicer armor base for it. Like Ghost Shroud, maybe, you know. Ah, Frozenstein, eh? A rare jewel. And we'll be like, how did you get locked up here? You know, no Lothok did this to me. And I'll be like, oh no, Frozen Anya, don't worry, I'll save you. That snake. And they're like, I never liked him. And I'm like, oh yeah, getting into the local drama. But I remember it must have been here the first time in Resurrected where I looked down and you can see your reflection in the pool of water, and it was probably right here was the first time I noticed it, and I was like, oh, I'm in the future. Like, that's where I am. You can live in the past, but in a better way, in the future. But, you know, not every dream comes true the right way. Wait, what? So it's like a magic mod now to get Warlock skills on a weapon? That is pretty fun. Would it matter that much? I mean, it would. Yes, that never gets better. I mean, it wouldn't be irrelevant. Would it be worth losing the 30 mana for, though? If it was like chaos skills, yeah, we'd just take it. It also is better damage, but that doesn't matter. We're not ever going to probably be getting those damage. Getting our damage from that again. Oh, yeah, now we're talking 10 fast cast and 57 mana. That's a lot of mana. 57. That's a lot. And we're going to be able to wear the other ring soon. That's going to be very excellent there. You know, in that case, since we've just made up all of that mana loss, and because that's cooler, we're going to retire the Glim Scythe. Will I ever use it again? 32 strength, level 13. At level 13, will any character of mine ever use that again? I mean, probably not. We'll sell it later when we need money. And then some garbage. This is not a very good jewel. Oh yeah, it's all coming together, baby. We are moving on up. They don't have a button to auto sort the inventory unless you're on controller. Like, and then we'll be like, can you show me the way? And this is a place I know very well. The ones outside are all waking up right now, but so I used to do this run a lot. This is the Pindleskin run. And then later you go pop Nothok, which that was like one of my principal Necro Magic Find runs. Although, you know, you gotta split it up, you know, or you'll go a little mad. But Pendle, because you can do a Pendle run in a very brief amount of time. It was always nice to, you know, you could go in it, or like, you know, you would join somebody else's world to do them a favor, and you just go kill Penderskin real quick. Like, well, since I'm here. Ow. Alright. That was a ton of stuff, but I'm like, how likely is it going to be better than my shield? Yeah, see, it isn't. Faster, you know, because now I have +1, and that's the bad thing about having a Sigon shield, though, is so when you get it, now everything has to compete. See, like there, 3 Flame Wave. Is 3 Flame Wave better for my build than +1 all skills? I mean, probably, but you know, there's a 40% difference in block chance, which is night and day. I think what we'll do. Let's put it on this one, and then if we ever need to, like, just... No, you know, this is fine. Yeah, we'll just rock this. It's good to have an alternate set in case you accidentally hit it, you know, and then you can keep on rolling. Right, and now it's the long walk through here. We're gonna continue with the temple over there here in a bit. I just want to get... You know, you sort of get between things, right? And I want to go and get this passage figured out. Because our next thing to do is the Ancients, which ideally will hit level 30 first. Ooh, nice. An Am rune definitely will go down smooth. Am is used in all sorts of stuff. Most notably Spirit, which is an exceptionally great rune word that goes in 4-socket swords and shields. You get like fast cast out of it. I think fast hit recovery. You get +2 to skills. You get resists when it's in the shield. It's really quite good. Hey, Glacial Trail waypoint, good. Now, let's go deal with old Necromancer here. We're going to go ahead and grab this ring into our inventory. Because we're going to be hitting level 29 soon, and since we were already there, might as well do it this way. And we're going to get a big old chunk of mana again. Halls of Anguish. So now, just out of the last little bit, right, we had added more than 100 mana to our pool, which is, you know, double. It's going to be a whole different happy world of casting here. Yeah, look at that. So good. No, we'll use Sigon Shield probably for like a short period of time. No, making Spirit is very good. We'll probably do it in Act 1 Nightmare. If I don't just grab one from some other character that I already have just to save time. But, you know, I didn't say it's a self-found character. It's what we were doing, but... This is very excellent indeed. This is going to allow us, because it's already just so noticeable that we actually have proper mana pool now. And again, if you're like actually trying to play the game, this is the sort of stuff you'd be doing all the time, you know. You pick up the gold so that you can check the shops and get better gear, and I just like leave gear on the ground. I'm like, whatever, we'll find something, maybe later. One socket is trash. Time to bounce out. Oh, we didn't read the scroll resistance. So the scroll resistance is the item you get for getting Ana, which is I think just 15 flat resist all. I think it's 15. I don't think I have any for anything else. So you get that, you know, once in every run, but when you go to Nightmare, all your resists are debuffed by an amount, and then an even greater amount in Hell. But yeah, so good. We just need some in this range here, and we'll be all right. Of course, right here is where the money is. And right here, the old Dancing Jaw and Bear. This is Cham and Zod. They're less important. Zod's good. It's even rare, but it's not as useful as the other high runes, and so like the value is kind of complicated for those reasons. Because it's, you know, not just scarcity determining what's going on, but usefulness. It's like Magic the Gathering cards. You got to be rare and useful to be truly valuable. No, that's the good thing about Halls of the Dead. They are a great place to level up. Unironically. The enemy's pretty dangerous, but not like so dangerous that they make your eyes hurt like a couple of places in the game. Depending on what you are. If you're like a melee character, forget about it. But honestly, besides like my paladins, like I don't know how anybody wants to play a melee character in this game. We have got to find some stairs soon. That's just not science, but math. We've got to. The narrator says, but he did not have to find his way out after all. Ooh, skill shrine. Skill shrines are fun because they show you what life would be like if you had better gear. Turns out, awesome. Love this character. Totally doesn't feel like a Diablo 2 character, though. It feels like a Diablo 3 character. Only, most of the skills aren't very good, but like the utility that we get out of the level 1 Sigil and the level 1 Nova, like very, very good stuff. Even though it's a level 2 Nova. But you can't make Monarch and you can't make Spirit and a shield without 4 sockets, and I think like you need like a lot of strength to wear a 4 socket shield. Yep. But actually, this is a good time to go ahead and at the game. My Pest Guy is here, so, you know, we're not going to have him appear on video, but we're not going to impede his progress of work either. So that's going to cut it right here, and we'll be right back later on today with more of this. See you guys later, Kira.